Hey guys, Drifter here. We are back with the Epic Dream series, and I gotta say, I did not expect to be back this early, but last night's stream was absolutely wild and crazy and meta and violent and perfect for this series, and it even preys on my fears, so we'll talk a little bit about what all it means and where these ideas came from near the end of the video. But for now, let's just jump into this absolutely wild dream, and I hope you enjoy the story. So the dream opens up with me spending my night as per usual. I usually stream Twitch from my phone directly to the TV because the TV doesn't have a Roku app, and I'm just enjoying my favorite Twitch streamers and content and loafing around the bed, and I hear my dog munching on something. I hear a little crunch crunch, and I look over and he's clearly eating something. It's clearly not dog food. If you have a dog, you know how big of a problem this can be. So I hop off the bed, look down, and find Boomy eating a whole bunch of random looking black pills just kind of all over the floor like they're snacks. I don't know what they are, don't know where they came from. I very quickly clean them up and try to push the dog away, go throw them in the garbage, come back to the room, look down on the floor, and there's even more black pills all over the place. And I'm staring at the floor, and then I notice one just sort of fall, like from the ceiling or what, and I look around, and then I notice there's a small pile of them on the side of the bed where I sat down my cell phone that was streaming Twitch, and I take a closer look, and there's a little like the hole where the speaker is kind of on the bottom of the cell phone is distorted and gotten bigger, and it's squeezing out these little black pills like it's giving birth, and the dog keeps eating them. I'm really concerned at this point. This is very bizarre, and of course, like every caveman, I have to come in and look close and see what's happening. I look in, and what I see in the phone is initially the phone is off. Black screen, you see your own face reflected in the darkness. And I take a moment to look, and then, I'm looking this way, but then the face, without me moving, turns immediately the other way, and I realize this is not a reflection, that something is inside the phone. And it's slightly mesmerizing and interesting. Then all of a sudden the phone lights up. It's almost like it was a broadcast and everybody just hit lights and the stage is lit up, and the person that was there on the phone is me, now properly lit, now clearly visible, and very clearly evil. It's like a demented alternative angrier version of me in the phone, and it's very slightly mesmerizing at the same time on a mostly white static background, and looking at it just makes me slightly dizzy. It's like I'm being hypnotized and getting pulled in, and this thing just starts laughing and screaming, but screams of joy, but more like a demented clown, screams of evil joy, and it's screaming about how its goals are finally completed, that it's finally done, that the work is finished. It's been planning this very moment for years, decades even, and goes on to explain while I'm hypnotized and drawn in and delirious, barely able to focus and think with whatever bizarre powers are going on, that it's been with me the entire time, that the shadow wasn't just a joke, it wasn't just a psychological flaw, but rather an entirely different thing that's been slowly planting seeds of evil in my content, that everything I make here on this channel, all the good things, all the silly things, all the bad things, it's all got actual evil, little nuggets of horrible ideas that have been implanted into it, and just planting seeds of disaster in everything I've been doing for my entire life. Goes on to explain that its very essence, its ideas, everything that it is now lives on in the heads of the audience that watch on this channel, and after decades, the fruits are finally blossoming, the eggs are hatching, the metamorphosis is complete, and a rebirth is about to begin. It starts screaming and laughing maniacally and twitching around and punching the screen, tearing up its own hands, but the screen, as small as it is, begins to show tiny little cracks, and it says it will soon be reborn, and that soon a new god will walk upon the face of the earth, and it's not gonna be a friendly god, ladies and gentlemen. The best part of all of this is that the work has already been done, which was scary to me, and as soon as it says that, it slams its head directly into the phone, which is my face hitting my small face hitting the small screen here, and just distorting it. It's like literally like hitting a plexiglass wall. You just see the blood smear, but instead of blood, it's like this weird black ichor kind of substance, and it keeps slamming its head into the phone over and over and over again, crushing my face, bruising, distorting, breaking the bones, eyes leaking out, everything just turning into this big horrid, goopy mess while it keeps talking about about how excited it is to be born, to finally walk upon the earth, and not just in the ideas in people's heads. And the best part of all of this is it's already done, and it puts the little hands in between a crack and begins to tear them open, squeezing the little head through the phone with the glass, tearing what's left of the face, creaking out, cartoonishly long neck, hands go in the face, ripping the face off, revealing some sort of horrible, evil, dark, and like alternate anti-version of me, and saying that it's done. The seeds are planted, they're they're blossoming, it's happening, that I can't stop it. This isn't a warning, this isn't something I can opt out of, but rather this dream is just for funsies. It's like a professional athlete calling their shot before they close the curtain on an opponent. It's a gloat, it's a brag, it's just sort of to put me down one more time before it becomes real. And at this point, I'm starting to sort of unfocus and like try to pull my head away from this weird hypnotizing thing that I'm watching on the floor. And I realize I'm very dizzy. I'm having a hard time moving. At this point in the dream, I assume I'm probably panicking and experiencing a little bit of sleep paralysis. And I'm kind of trying to pull away. And as I try to pull away, more and more of this thing just starts coming out of the phone, just tearing its way out, screaming something about needing my flesh to be a vessel, or really any flesh to be a vessel. And then my wife comes in, hearing all of this noise. She sees the thing, she freaks out, screams, gives me a slap, tries to shake me and kind of get me out of the room. And she bends down to pick up Boomy off the floor, who's been munching on all of these little pills. And then Boomy turns and snaps and bites her arm, revealing the other half of the dog's face is only a half-formed, black, goopy, tar-like mess of a being that's being spawned from all of the goop leaking out of the phone into little piles on the floor. And there's now dozens of little horrible, like mangled, evil versions of Boomy barking around, and the real one in the corner, sad and scared, and the puddle and goop is filling up everywhere. And, you know, I grab her and try to leave the room, but then the same face instantly disappears from the phone, pops up on the TV, white static in the background, blaring insanely loud, screaming, laughing, saying, "Welcome to the future. This is going to be the rest of your life until the end of time once I'm reborn. This is all you're ever going to know, and you're going to be my favorite little plaything." Just screaming, and it starts punching through the TV as well, poking its grubby little hands through the broken glass, cutting itself and spraying more black ichor all over the place. And I start to crawl out of the room. My wife and I we're both dizzy, delirious. It has some sort of power that makes you unable to focus. And we get out to the living room, and then the living room TV, same thing, sparks coming out of it, screaming, saying the zeitgeist is about to begin. It's really going to be born. There'll be a new god on this planet. And the white noise is so loud, cranking up louder, higher. It's all I can hear. It's all I can think about. It's deafening. It's burning. It's insane. It's just incredibly disorienting. And I remember only trying to crawl away from whatever this thing was. It was so intense. Opening the door to the backyard, taking one step out, tripping over myself, falling forward, seeing the pavement coming, and then immediately, we're back in the real world. I jump out of bed. I'm a sick man. I shouldn't jump. My body bolted out of the bed, and I just swung one fist straight up in the air as hard as I could, hurt me a little bit. Very disoriented, very confused, but very awake and very alive. And that was what I dreamed about last night. It was a lot more intense. It was a lot more meta. It was a lot more extreme than what I've normally been dreaming. My normal dreams are probably most people's nightmares, but this was kind of on a different level. It was self-referential. The dream talked about knowing that it's a dream and that it doesn't even serve a purpose other than to let me know what's coming, like to gloat, essentially. And that the longer I stay in the dream, the more powerful it gets. And it's this weird meta commentary of what my subconscious does and what could be slipping into my content while I'm not paying attention. But I think it plays on a couple of different fears and ideas that I were experiencing at the time. So one of the big things that I'm currently experiencing is a lot of self-doubt on whether my life choices and my life path are good, that I've spent the majority of my life making little short videos, social media stuff, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever, and I've done a lot of good. I talked about that in the retiring from in-depth video, even gloating a little bit myself about all the good I've done, inspired people to be positive. But I realized that the work that I've done has also helped popularize and make profitable a medium that is known for disinformation, for radicalization, for bogus health claims, for algorithms that get into people's heads and make them believe things that they didn't believe before, or just turn into zombies staring at their phone 12, 15 hours a day, scrolling through TikTok endlessly. And I've begun to wonder if, even with the best of intentions, even with trying to be educational and, not feed the evil in the beast, that the beast is still fed. That my being here on this platform and any platform contributes to a greater evil regardless of what I want to do with it. You've got those ideas going on. Of course, I have the shadow problem on occasion. And I just recently finished watching this trio of things that were all about gods being born. That was Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, which is that if enough people believe in something, it becomes real. Then there was Mob Psycho that I just watched, which, as a small spoiler for the more recent season, there is a plot point about gathering enough worship and faith from people to ascend and become a god. And we also finished watching Chainsaw Man, where all of the villains and demons are incarnations of ideas. And before going to bed, we were joking about the social media demon and what it might look like and what an evil social media god could be. And all of these sort of fears that I have about the thing that I'm doing perhaps becoming evil, the fears of my past and the extreme dreams of the shadow, and this perfect little collection of media that we watched before going to bed, all about bringing ideas to life, gave me this kind of insane self-referential meta dream where I was probably having something similar to a conversation with a very unpleasant part of my subconsciousness. So that's what I think it means. I think it's literally just my own fears getting the best of me. You're all welcome to draw your own conclusions from this. Does this story have a point? Does it have a purpose? Are we going somewhere? Not really. It's just a thing that happened that all of you find interesting, so I'll give you updates when they happen. If you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.